What's up, people? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired were you when you went to school this morning? Daylight savings in the spring sucks. It's just been one of those days. I'm really tired. I was on Skype earlier and I was talking to somebody and he was like, so how long are you gonna be on Skype? And I replied, yeah. And he's like, what? And I was like, oh, I read that wrong. I'll be on Skype for a while. I don't know why I just said yeah. But got some knife only gameplay for you. I might use my gun at the end because I'm tired of the bullshit. But for the most part, I was really embarrassing these kids with my knife. But the knifing system in Black Ops is terrible. So I had a topic today. What was it? Oh yeah, topic, bullies. Okay, so when I was in high school, I did have a bully. And I went into high school with that mentality where I was like, all right, I'm a freshman. People are just gonna fuck with me. That's how it is. So I accepted it. So basically the way it worked at my school was that you could take gym any year that you wanted to. So if you wanted to take gym your last year of high school, you could do that. I chose to get it over with my freshman year. So when I was in gym class, there was this guy in there that was actually a sophomore. So he was a year ahead of me, but he was way too big to be a sophomore. Like, does anybody have that kid in their grade who just looks way too old or way too big to be in that grade? That's kind of how this guy was. So he would always fuck with me in gym. That was the only time I ever saw him. But it was basically like the daily punches in the arm, and he would sometimes get a jab in my stomach and I'd be like, oh, and I'd bend over and I'd be hugging myself. But it wasn't horrible. Like, I had this feeling that I was this guy's first victim because he was kind of a pussy when it came to bullying. He wasn't really intense. So eventually he stopped messing with me, and what I did to just, you know, make him lose interest was I never gave him a reaction. It got to the point where every single day he'd punch me in the arm and I didn't even do anything. Like, I had no facial expression whatsoever. I barely even moved when he punched me. I would just keep walking, and then he got bored. So he just, one day, he quit cold turkey. Like, he just stopped messing with me. It lasted for like a month, and then all of a sudden it just stopped, and I was just like, yes. But I have a funny story on this particular guy that was always fucking with me. So I was a junior and he was a senior, and I didn't really talk to him because, you know, a couple years went by, we never talked, I barely saw him at school, and I had this iPod that I was trying to sell. So I got on Craigslist and I listed this iPod for like $100, and within like 30 minutes I get a text from somebody, and this guy's like, I'm really interested in the iPod, can I pick it up tomorrow? And then I was just like, yeah, what time do you want to meet up? And he was like, well, I've got school, so I'll have to meet up after school. And I was just like, oh, I've got school too, where do you go to school? And he was like, I go to HSC. And I was like, oh, I go to HSC, let's just meet at school. This is so weird. And he was like, that's awesome, that's perfect. So we agreed that we were gonna meet by these tables, and they were outside the cafeteria before first period. So I get to school a little early so I can meet up with this person, and I'm going to the lunch tables outside the cafeteria, and I see my old bully just sitting on the table, just sitting there. And I was like, okay, that's weird. I haven't, you know, talked to this guy in like a year or two. So I just kind of went over to the table and I sat on the table across from him, and I take my backpack off, I pull out my phone, and I send this guy a text that I'm supposed to meet up with, and I was just like, hey, I'm here. As soon as I sent the text, his phone went off, and then we just looked at each other, and I was just like, hey, do you want to buy this iPod? And he was like, yeah, I'm the guy. And I was just like, this could not be any more awkward. So I gave him the iPod, he gave me the money, and we went our separate ways. So that's just kind of a funny story about my high school bully. It really wasn't bad though. Like, my case was so mild compared to all of the other kids that get bullied out there. But my advice to you, if you're getting bullied, is to just don't give them a reaction. I know it's hard, but if you don't give people a reaction, then they're not gonna fuck with you anymore, because the main reason people try to bully people is just to see what that person's gonna do, and they get entertainment out of your reactions. If you don't have any reactions, what's the point in bullying? There is none. They're not getting anything from it, so they move on to the next kid. You know, unfortunately, it's just kind of a cycle, and you just got put into that cycle. But the sooner you stop giving them reactions, the sooner that you get out. So that's just my suggestion. Damn it, there we go again with that word. Suggest. Fuck it, I'm out of here, bye.
Load the choppers, bring them problems that they talking about. Roll a reefer, no Khalifa, you gon' ride or die. No homicide, it's suicide before I testify. That's on my daughter, I'm running Florida, no kind of sorta.